Welcome to Monk's Temple. Settle in, wherever you are. Let your body be heavy, supported. There's nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to do. Just listen, and breathe. The wisdom we'll explore is not new, it's ancient, flowing from the heart of Buddhism, from the Buddha's own realization under the Bodhi tree. He saw that suffering isn't mandated by life, but by how our minds meet life. Our journey begins with a single, revolutionary shift. Learning to see your mind not as you, but as a powerful instrument you can learn to play with mastery. For just a moment, close your eyes. Notice the thoughts moving through your awareness. A plan, a memory, a slight worry. Don't judge them. Just watch. See if you can notice the one who is watching. That silent, aware presence behind the thoughts, that is the real you. The thoughts are just passing weather. This is the core of the training. Shifting your identity from the chaotic weather to the vast, calm sky that contains it. I learned this not in a temple, but on a delayed subway train. The car was hot, crowded. A child was crying, and the air buzzed with everyone's shared frustration. I was clenched tight, mentally screaming at the delay, my body a knot of stress. Then, I noticed an elderly man seated across from me. His eyes were closed, a faint, peaceful smile on his face. He wasn't asleep, he was present. In the midst of that collective turmoil, he was an island of stillness. It struck me like a physical blow. His external conditions were identical to mine, but his internal world was continents apart. He had access to a space I didn't. He knew how to find the calm sky behind the storm. That day, I realized peace wasn't a location you arrive at when life gets easy. It's a space you learn to inhabit within difficulty. It's a skill. That skill is what we cultivate here. If this idea that you can find stillness not by avoiding noise, but by discovering a quiet place within it, speaks to you, please consider subscribing to Monk's Temple. By joining, you're choosing to nurture this inner space. You're giving yourself permission to return here, to this shared journey of turning inward, again and again. Let's begin the training with a foundational principle. Your mind is a garden, not a wilderness. An untended garden grows weeds. Thoughts of fear, lack, and judgment spring up without effort. They choke the soil. Most of us live in this overgrown wilderness, mistaking the weeds for the only reality. But you are the gardener. You have the tools. Training the mind is the daily, gentle work of tending this inner plot. You don't fight the weeds with hatred, you simply recognize they are not the flowers you wish to cultivate, and you uproot them with patient attention. Then, you consciously plant seeds. Seeds of gratitude. Seeds of patience. Seeds of, let's see. You water them with your focus. The Buddha taught, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. This is gardening wisdom. Your recurring thoughts are the seeds that determine your inner landscape's harvest. So, how do you start gardening? You begin with the simplest tool, your breath. The breath is your trowel, always in your hand. It's your anchor to the present plot of land. Right now, draw your attention to your breathing. Feel the air moving in through your nostrils. Feel your chest or belly rise. Then feel the release, the letting go, on the exhale. Do this for 3 cycles. In, and out. In, and out. In, and out. Whenever you return to your breath, you are pulling a weed of distraction and planting a seed of presence. You are saying to your mind, for now, we tend only to this. This gardening work requires a second, crucial understanding: much of your pain is caused by watering rocks. Imagine you have a garden with both fertile soil and barren, rocky patches. Suffering is when you stand over the rocks, desperately pouring water, begging flowers to grow where they simply cannot. You exhaust yourself, feeling like a failure. The rocks are everything outside your control: other people's actions, the past, the future, traffic, the weather. The fertile soil is your own response, your attitude, your next mindful action. So much of our energy is wasted watering the rocks, worrying over things we cannot change. The trained mind learns to discern soil from rock. It invests its precious water, its attention and care, only in the fertile ground of its own domain. A small, personal story. I used to agonize over family gatherings, trying to control conversations to avoid conflict. I was watering rocks, trying to manage others' emotions and opinions. It left me drained and resentful. My teacher asked, "Can you make your uncle agree with you?" I said no. "Can you choose your own words with kindness?" I said yes. "Then tend your own speech," he said. Let his reactions be his rocky soil. Pour your water on your own. It was a revelation. I focused only on being present and kind myself. The dynamic didn't magically fix, but my suffering around it dissolved. I was no longer exhausted from futile labor. This is the essence of the Buddhist teaching on letting go. It's not passive resignation. It's intelligent conservation of energy. It's the graceful acceptance of what you cannot change so you can pour your life force into what you can, the quality of your own heart and mind in this very moment. So, as we conclude this first part, take this with you: you are the gardener of your inner world. Your breath is your always available tool. And your peace grows when you stop watering the rocky ground of the uncontrollable, and tend instead to the fertile soil of your own compassionate response. This is the beginning of training a mind that stays calm, not because the world is calm, but because it knows where to plant its seeds. Let's continue our journey inward. As we begin, recall that sense of being the gardener. Your tools are ready. Now, we cultivate a specific skill, the art of observation without ownership. This is the heart of mindfulness, a core Buddhist practice. It means learning to see your thoughts and feelings as passing visitors in the guesthouse of your awareness, not as the landlord who owns the place. Find your breath again. In and out. Now, imagine your mind as a clear, blue sky. Thoughts are clouds. Some are dark and stormy, worry, anger; some are white and fluffy, joy, memory; some just wispy streaks. The untrained mind believes it is the cloud. If a dark cloud of anxiety appears, it shouts, "I am anxious." And the whole sky becomes a thunderstorm. The trained mind knows, a cloud of anxiety is passing through. The sky itself, vast, silent, boundless, is untouched. It doesn't cling to the white clouds or fight the black ones. It simply holds space for all weather. You are the sky. Your awareness is that limitless capacity. Thoughts and emotions are just the ever-changing weather patterns within it. I learned this through a humbling experience with a pot of tea. I was waiting for important news, my mind a torrent of what if. I decided to make tea, a ritual to calm myself. But as I poured the boiling water, my hand shook with nervousness. I spilled some, scalding my finger. In a flash, frustration at the spill merged with my underlying anxiety, erupting as sudden, hot anger. I slammed the pot down. In the ringing silence that followed, I saw the steam rising calmly from the spout. The tea was still brewing perfectly inside, despite my turmoil. The thought arose, the tea is not angry. The hot water is just doing what hot water does. My reaction is extra. I observed the physical pain in my finger, the emotional heat of anger, and the deep undercurrent of fear. Instead of becoming them, I just named them silently: sensation, anger, fear. I watched them like I watched the steam, as phenomena arising, doing their dance, and destined to dissipate. And they did. The storm passed much faster than usual. The sky of my mind cleared. I hadn't suppressed the feelings, I had just stopped claiming them as my permanent identity. That is the power of observation. The Buddha taught that clinging to impermanent things, including our own transient emotions, is the root of suffering. When you observe without owning, you stop clinging. You let the cloud pass. This practice builds a profound resilience. You no longer get hijacked by every mental event. This leads us to our next, essential tool, the power of sacred repetition. Peace is not a one-time discovery. It is a path worn smooth by the daily footsteps of practice. Think of a deep, beautiful canyon. It wasn't carved by a single, catastrophic flood, but by the persistent, gentle flow of a river over millennia. Your mind has canyons too, deep grooves of habit. The groove of worry is deep. The groove of self-criticism is deep. They are your mind's default pathways. You cannot fill them in by willpower alone. But you can, with sacred repetition, begin to carve a new groove right beside them, the groove of calm return. This is what meditation truly is. It is not about achieving a blank mind. It is the repetitive act of noticing you have wandered into the old canyon of distraction, and gently, without judgment, stepping back onto the path of focus, the breath, a sound, a sensation. Every single time you do this, you are carving the new groove. You are sending the river of your attention down a new course. At first, it's a faint trickle. But with daily repetition, it gains strength, depth, and becomes the easier, more natural path for your mind to follow. The old grooves will still be there, but you are no longer a slave to them. You have a choice. In the monasteries, this is understood deeply. The day is structured around repetitive practice, chanting, walking meditation, mindful eating. It's not for ceremony. It's for neural rewiring. It's groove carving. You don't need a monastery. You need a committed, kind repetition. One mindful breath, repeated 1,000 times throughout your day, is more transformative than a single hour of forced concentration once a month. Let's try a carving exercise right now. For the next minute, your sole task is to count 10 breaths. Silently, in your mind, in, 1. Out, 1. In, 2. Out, 2. If your mind wanders before you reach 10, and it will. That's the whole point. The moment you realize you've wandered, you have not failed. You have been given the golden opportunity to practice the return. Gently, start back at, in, 1. This is the sacred repetition. The value is not in reaching 10, but in the loving act of beginning again. Let's try. However that went, you just carved your groove a little deeper. You exercised the muscle of mindful return. That is the training. Do this daily, for just a few minutes, and you will be building a mental infrastructure of calm that will support you when life's earthquakes come. This practice of patient repetition naturally fosters our next principle, cultivating a heart of compassionate witnessing. Observation can feel clinical if it's done with a cold, analytical mind. But when you blend clear seeing with a warm heart, it becomes healing. This is karuna, compassion. It starts with witnessing your own inner world with kindness. When you notice the cloud of anger, instead of thinking, ugh, not again, I'm so bad for feeling this, you can think, ah, this is anger. It's here. It's understandable. May I be kind to myself in this feeling. You are the sky offering space to the storm cloud. You are the gardener tending a bruised plant, not ripping it out. This compassionate witnessing then extends outward. When someone acts harshly, instead of immediately reacting with your own harshness, you pause. You see their behavior as a storm cloud in their sky. You might think, this person is suffering. This is the weather of their pain showing up. This doesn't mean you allow abuse. It means you respond from your calm sky, not from your own triggered storm. You can set a firm boundary with the clarity of a gardener putting up a fence, but you do it without pouring the poison of hatred on their soil or your own. The Buddha taught that hatred never ends hatred, only love does. This compassionate witnessing is a form of fierce, intelligent love. It protects your peace without destroying your heart. So, we have new tools, see yourself as the sky, not the weather. Carve new grooves of peace through daily, gentle repetition. And meet all you observe. Within and without, with the warmth of a compassionate witness. This is how you build a mind that is not easily shaken, a heart that is not easily hardened. Welcome back. Let's settle deeper now. In our last session, we became observers, and we began the sacred work of carving new mental pathways through repetition. Now, we move to the very ground of our being, the only place where our power truly resides, the sanctuary of the present moment. The Buddha taught that the past is a memory, a shadow. The future is a dream, a projection. The only reality that exists is this one, fleeting, eternal now. Yet, our minds are masterful time travelers. We spend our days visiting the ghost towns of yesterday's regrets and the mirage cities of tomorrow's worries. We pay for these journeys with the currency of our present peace. We are absent from our own lives. Training the mind to stay calm is, in large part, the training to come home. To inhabit this breath, this sensation, this look of light on the wall, right now. I want to share a story about my teacher and a broken vase. It was a simple, clay vase he kept on his windowsill. One day, a gust of wind knocked it to the floor, where it shattered. I rushed in, saying, "Oh no. I'm so sorry, it's ruined." He knelt down and began carefully picking up the pieces. He held a shard up to the light. "Look," he said softly. "See how the glaze catches the sun now in a way it never could when it was whole. This is not a ruin. It is a transformation. And it is happening now." He wasn't mourning the intact vase of the past or worrying about cleaning up the future. He was fully, curiously, peacefully present with the reality of the shattered pieces in the present. In that moment, he wasn't experiencing brokenness. He was experiencing a profound, textured beauty in what is. That lesson changed me. Suffering is often our argument with the present moment. Peace is our unconditional presence within it. Think of your awareness as a lighthouse. Its powerful beam can only ever illuminate what is directly in front of it in the present. If you swing that beam frantically backward to light up the past, you leave the present in darkness and you see only ghosts. If you strain it forward to try and penetrate the future's fog, you see only phantoms and leave yourself vulnerable to crashing on the rocks of the unseen now. A calm mind keeps its beam steadily, softly, on the immediate surroundings, this breath, this feeling in your feet, this sound in the room. In that steady light, you can navigate anything. The rocks of past regret and future fear lose their power because you are no longer shining your light on them. Let's practice anchoring in this sanctuary. Take 3 breaths, and with each exhale, feel yourself sinking deeper into the reality of this moment. Feel the weight of your body in the chair. Feel the texture of your clothes against your skin. Listen to the most subtle sound you can hear in the space around you. For these few moments, there is nothing to fix, nowhere to go. You are simply here. The present moment is rarely the problem. It is our thoughts about the present that create the storm. When you are fully here, you realize this moment is almost always workable, often beautiful, and entirely alive. From this anchored presence, we can engage with a principle that the original teachings hold sacred, the practice of non-attachment to outcome. This is often misunderstood. It does not mean you don't care, or that you don't have goals. It means you do not chain your inner peace to a specific, demanded result. You pour your heart into the action, and then you release your grip on how the universe should respond. Here is an original metaphor. Imagine you are an archer. Your goal is to hit the target. Non-attachment is not about being indifferent to where your arrow lands. It is about where you place your mind. The untrained archer's mind is glued to the bullseye. With every fiber of their being, they need the arrow to hit the center. This need creates tension in the body, tremor in the hand, distortion in the aim. Their peace is hostage to the outcome. The trained archer practices a different art. Their full focus is on the elegance of their own form, the feel of the bow, the alignment of their posture, the smooth release of the string. They perform the action with exquisite attention and skill. Then, they release the arrow, and with it, they release their mental clutch on the target. The arrow flies on its own. Whether it hits the bullseye, the outer ring, or misses entirely, the archer's peace remains intact. They did their part with excellence. The rest was never truly in their control. They are free to learn, adjust, and shoot again without the weight of desperation. This is how you engage with life. Pour your love into being a good parent, a dedicated worker, a creative soul. Focus on the quality of your action, your intention, your presence. Then, release the arrow. The reaction of your child, the approval of your boss, the reception of your art, these are the target. You cannot control them. You can only control your own form. When you tie your happiness to hitting the bullseye every time, you set yourself up for inevitable suffering. When you tie your happiness to the integrity of your own effort, you carry an unshakable peace. The Buddha taught the middle way, engaged effort without feverish clinging. This is its practical application. So, we bring together the lessons of Part 3, build your sanctuary in the present moment by steadying the lighthouse beam of your attention. From that stable ground, engage with your life's targets, but place your value and your peace in the beauty and integrity of your own action, your form, not in the uncontrollable outcome. This is how you live a passionate, purposeful life without being perpetually heartbroken by a world that does not follow your script. Let us continue our journey here in Monk's Temple. We've learned to observe, to carve new paths, to anchor in the now, and to act without clinging to outcomes. Now, we turn toward what many see as the greatest challenge, the storms themselves. The difficult emotions, the pain, the obstacles. Here, Buddhist wisdom offers not a shield, but an alchemy. It teaches us that within every obstacle lies the fuel for peace. The very thing you are resisting can become your greatest teacher, if you know how to meet it. Close your eyes. Bring to mind a current, small difficulty, a lingering irritation, a low-grade anxiety. Don't choose the largest storm, just a bit of inner weather. Now, instead of wishing it away, try this, say to yourself, silently, this too is part of the journey. Feel the difference. In the first stance, you are at war with your own experience. In the second, you are acknowledging it as part of the landscape you are moving through. This is the first step of alchemy, cessation of resistance. I learned this from a stubborn maple tree outside my first quiet room. In autumn, its leaves would fall, clogging the gutter. Every weekend, it was a chore I resented. I saw the tree as an obstacle to my peace. One windy day, watching the golden leaves swirl down, a thought arose: the tree is not giving you a chore. It is giving you leaves. Your story about the chore is the problem. The next time I cleaned the gutter, I tried an experiment. I decided to be fully present with just the leaves. I felt their papery texture, noticed the veins, saw the gradient of color from stem to tip. I stopped counting minutes and simply engaged with the act of clearing. The irritation vanished. It became a quiet, almost meditative task. The obstacle hadn't changed, but my relationship to it had transformed. It was no longer an enemy to my peace, it had become the very activity through which I practiced peace. The Buddha's teachings on right effort are not about struggling against unwholesome states, but about gently cultivating wholesome ones in their very midst. You don't fight the darkness, you light a candle. This brings us to a powerful, original metaphor, the Forge of Equanimity. Imagine your deepest calm is a precious metal, like gold. In its natural state, it is mixed with ore, with impurities, your reactive impulses, your fears, your attachments. You cannot simply wish the impurities away. You need a forge. The heat of the forge is your life's difficulties. The hammer is your mindful awareness. When a difficulty arises, an insult, a failure, a loss, it brings intense heat. The untrained mind runs from the forge, leaving the gold impure. The trained mind stays. It uses the hammer of awareness to strike the hot metal, observing the sensation, naming the emotion, breathing into the tightness. With each mindful strike, an impurity is worked out. The heat of the difficulty is what makes the transformation possible. Without it, the gold remains dull and mixed. With it, and with your conscious, non-reactive presence, the difficulty purifies your peace. It makes your calm stronger, more resilient, more refined. What was once a threat becomes the necessary condition for your growth. So, how do you step into the forge? You practice turning toward the discomfort. This is counterintuitive. Our biology screams to avoid pain. But emotional and mental suffering often grows in the shadowy space we refuse to look at. When a feeling of unworthiness, jealousy, or grief arises, our instinct is to distract, numb, or berate ourselves for having it. This is like putting a monster in a closet and then being terrified of the closet. The monster gains power in the dark. The training is to open the closet door, turn on the light, and look at the monster with the curious eyes of a compassionate scientist. Ah, you are here again, feeling of lack. Let me feel you. Where do you live in my body? A tightness in the throat? A hollow in the chest? What shape are you? What color? You are not merging with the monster. You are illuminating it with your awareness. And under that steady, kind light, monsters almost always shrink. They are often just wounded, lost parts of your experience that needed attention. By turning toward them, you integrate them. You reclaim your energy from avoiding them. This is a profound application of the Buddha's teaching on the cessation of suffering. Suffering ceases when we stop feeding the resistance to our experience. Let's try a very brief practice. Think of a mild, current unease located in your body. Now, for just 3 breaths, send your breath into that area. Imagine the in-breath softening the edges, and the out-breath creating space around it. Don't try to change it. Just be with it, breathing. You are holding it in awareness, as you would hold a child's hand. This is turning toward. This is the beginning of alchemy. This ability to be with difficulty transforms how you meet the world. It leads to a state of unyielding softness. This is a cornerstone of the peace we are building. It is not fragility. It is the strength of a deep river. It can wear down the hardest rock not by force, but by persistent, gentle presence. It is the quality of a willow tree that bends in a hurricane while the rigid oak snaps. Your calm becomes unyielding not because it is hard and defensive, but because it is soft, adaptable, and inclusive. It yields to the fact of the difficulty without yielding its own core of peace. It accepts the feeling without accepting the story that says, "This feeling means I am broken." In your daily life, when a storm hits, remember the forge. The heat is not your enemy, it is the catalyst. Stay present with the hammer of your breath. Turn toward the sensation with gentle curiosity. And in doing so, you will perform the alchemy that transforms the lead of hardship into the gold of wisdom. Your peace will not be a peaceful absence of storms, but the profound calm learned in the very center of them. We've learned to alchemize obstacles. Now, we move to the expression of that inner work, the power of conscious response. In a world that constantly pulls the lever of your reactions, we cultivate something radical. We cultivate the supremacy of conscious stillness. We often confuse stillness with passivity. We think it means doing nothing. But in the Buddhist tradition, and in the training of a calm mind, stillness is the most dynamic state of all. It is not the absence of motion, it is the fullness of poised potential. Think of a drawn bow, just before the archer releases the arrow. That moment of maximum tension is also a moment of perfect, silent stillness. All power is gathered, focused, ready. That is the stillness we seek. It is the pause between the world's stimulus and your response. In that pause, your freedom lives. I witnessed this supremacy in an airport terminal, of all places. A traveler in front of me was berating a gate agent over a cancelled flight. His voice was loud, his gestures sharp, his face red with indignation. The crowd grew tense, taking sides. The gate agent, a young woman, listened. She didn't interrupt, she didn't defend, she didn't shrink. She stood with a quiet, upright posture, her eyes steady. When he finally exhausted himself, she spoke. Her voice was low, calm, and clear. "Sir," she said, "I hear how frustrating this is. I am so sorry for the disruption to your plans. My goal right now is to help you. Let's look at the options together." The man deflated. The energy in the space shifted entirely. She had not given him what he wanted, she couldn't materialize a plane, but she had given him something he needed more, a reflection of calm. She did not absorb his chaos, she held a space of order around it. That was stillness in action. It was not weak. It was authoritative. It controlled the entire field without raising a voice. The Buddha taught that, an insult is a gift if you do not accept it. She did not accept the insult. She left it lying at his feet, and offered a solution instead. Her stillness was a fortress he could not storm. This is the practice, to build a moat of pause around your reactions. When a triggering event occurs, a critical email, a sudden change, your biology will urge you to act now. Your trained mind learns to say, "Wait." You take one conscious breath. In that breath, you step out of the river of reactivity and onto the bank of choice. You become the archer, not the arrow. From that bank, you can ask the most important question. From which part of me shall I respond? Will you respond from the frightened child, the defensive ego, the wounded pride? Or will you respond from the wise adult, the compassionate witness, the calm sky? Stillness gives you the space to choose your source. Let's introduce an original metaphor, the deep sea diver and the surface storm. On the surface of the ocean, a storm may rage. Waves are chaotic, winds scream, everything is tumult. This is the realm of reactivity. But a deep-sea diver, just 20 meters down, experiences a different reality. The water is calm, movements are slow, the light is filtered and serene. The storm is still happening above, but it is a distant, muffled reality. The deeper the diver goes, the more profound the calm. Your mind is this ocean. Your reactive thoughts and heated emotions are the surface storm. Every time you pause and breathe, you are taking a dive. You are descending from the choppy, loud surface of immediate reaction into the deeper, quieter waters of your true awareness. From that depth, you can see the surface storms for what they are, temporary weather patterns. You are no longer tossed by them. You can observe them, understand their force, and then decide how to navigate, all from a place of unshakable inner quiet. This is the stillness that masters the storm. How do you become a deep-sea diver of the mind? You practice descent. In moments of non-crisis, you train. Through meditation, you practice going deep. Through mindful walking, eating, or listening, you practice residing below the surface chatter. Then, when a storm hits, your mind knows the pathway down. It is a familiar route. You don't have to think, you simply begin the descent with a conscious breath. From this deep stillness arises a quality the Buddha exalted, right speech and right action. When you are not caught in the surface storm of emotion, your words and deeds cease to be weapons or leaks. They become intentional, precise, and kind. You speak not to vent, but to communicate. You act not to prove a point, but to effect a change. You discover that the most powerful action is often the one that looks like stillness to the outside world, listening fully, pausing before replying, choosing not to engage in a fruitless argument. This is the warrior's stillness. It takes far more strength than lashing out. So, let this be your practice in the days to come. When you feel the hook of reactivity tug at you, remember the deep sea diver. Take one breath and descend. Find that quiet water beneath the chaos. From that place of gathered, potent stillness, let your response emerge, slow, clear, and true. You will find that this stillness does not make you a spectator to life. It makes you its most conscious, and therefore most powerful, participant. Let's settle in once more. We've built the fortress of stillness. Now, we open its gates. For a mind trained in calm and clarity has one final, glorious destination, the boundless field of fearless compassion. This is where the journey from peacekeeper to peacemaker begins. Buddhism teaches that wisdom and compassion are the two wings of a bird, one cannot fly without the other. Your calm mind is the wisdom wing, clear, discerning, steady. But without the compassion wing, the warm, expansive impulse to relieve suffering, your flight is circular, only serving yourself. True, unshakable peace is found when your calm becomes the foundation for kindness, not its boundary. Imagine your heart as a lantern. For a long time, you may have kept its glass smudged and its flame low, protecting it from the winds of the world. You feared if you shone too brightly, the wind would blow it out. Training the mind cleans the glass. It makes the flame steady. Fearless compassion is the act of taking that sheltered, steady lantern and carrying it out into the wind, not to be extinguished, but to illuminate the path for others. Your calm is no longer a private treasure, it becomes a public utility. The Buddha's entire path culminates in bodhicitta, the awakened heart-mind that seeks enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. This is not a lofty ideal, but a practical training of the heart. I learned the weight of a grudge and the lightness of its release from an experience with an old friend. A misunderstanding had severed our ties for years. I carried the story of her betrayal like a stone in my pocket, fingering it often, letting its edges define my sense of injury. My meditation practice had given me calm, but this stone remained, a hard, cold fact in my inner world. One day, my teacher simply said, "You are tending a dead plant and wondering why your garden isn't blooming." He asked me to do a metta, loving kindness, practice, but to start with her. It felt impossible, hypocritical. I began mechanically, "May you be safe." I felt nothing but resistance. "May you be happy." A pang of resentment. "May you be free from suffering." And then, a crack. A sudden, clear memory arose not of the betrayal, but of her laughing years before, a moment of pure, unguarded joy. I saw her not as the villain in my story, but as a human being who, like me, was susceptible to fear and misunderstanding. The stone in my pocket didn't vanish, but it turned to dust. The energy I'd used to carry it was suddenly freed. That was the moment I understood, compassion is not something you offer because someone deserves it. It is something you cultivate because you deserve the freedom that comes with it. Holding the grudge was my suffering. Releasing it through compassion was my peace. This aligns perfectly with the Buddhist teaching that hatred never ceases by hatred, only by love. This leads to an essential, original metaphor, the compassionate mirror. Most of the time, we interact with the world as a standard mirror. Someone shouts, we reflect back anger. Someone withdraws, we reflect back coldness. This is reactive, unconscious reflection. The trained mind learns to be a compassionate mirror. When negativity is directed at you, you do not reflect back its exact image. Instead, you absorb the raw energy, let it pass through the clear space of your stillness, and reflect back understanding. You see the pain behind the anger, the fear behind the coldness. Your reflection is not of their emotion, but of their humanity. This does not mean you accept abuse. It means you respond to the person, not just to their behavior. You might say, I can see you're very upset, which reflects your perception of their state, not your own triggered one. This reflective quality disarms conflict and often dissolves it, because you are no longer feeding the fire with your own fuel. How do you polish this mirror? You practice compassionate inquiries. When you feel hurt or annoyed by someone, pause. Instead of solidifying your story about them, they are rude, selfish, wrong. Ask yourself 3 questions from a place of calm curiosity. 1. What might this person be fearing or wanting right now that I cannot see? 2. In what way are they suffering? 3. How am I similar to them? We all act from fear, desire, or confusion at times. These inquiries short-circuit judgment and open a channel for empathy. They move you from being a critic of the painting to a student of the painter's condition. Finally, fearless compassion must include its most important subject, you. Self-compassion is the root. You cannot water a garden with an empty cup. Many people have a mind calm enough to be kind to others but are merciless to themselves. Every self-critical thought, every moment of shame, is a violation of your own inner peace. Buddhist practice often begins with directing metta toward oneself. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. This is not selfish. It is foundational. It is filling your own cup from the wellspring of your own heart. A peaceful mind that hates itself is a contradiction. Forgive yourself for your past, for your imperfections, for the days you forget to practice. Treat yourself with the same gentle patience you are learning to offer the world. When you do, your compassion for others will flow effortlessly, without exhaustion, because it is sourced from an abundant, self-replenishing well. So, let your calm be the soil. Let compassion be the flower that grows from it. Polish the mirror of your heart to reflect understanding, not reaction. Start by filling your own cup with kindness. In doing so, you complete the circle of training. Your peace is no longer a secluded island, but a continent connected to all life. This is the highest strength, a peaceful heart that fears no shadow because it knows how to bring light. We have journeyed through observation, stillness, and compassion. Now, we arrive at the heart of the matter, integration. How does this training cease to be a practice and become a life? The answer lies in the rhythm of the awakened ordinary. Buddhism does not ask us to escape life, but to meet it with profound simplicity. The final training is to weave these threads of wisdom into the very fabric of your daily existence, into the first sip of morning tea, the commute, the conversation, the quiet evening. This is where calm becomes not something you do, but something you are. Think of your day not as a line from point A to point B, but as a series of sacred circles. Each circle is a complete cycle, an intention, an action, a completion, a rest. The untrained mind lives in jagged lines, rushing from one half-finished task to the next, spilling the energy of the past into the future. The trained mind completes circles. It brings full presence to making the bed, then lets that action go. It listens completely to a colleague, then lets that conversation settle before moving on. It washes one dish at a time. In this completion of small circles, you find an unshakable rhythm. You are never off balance, because you are always fully in the step you are taking. I learned this rhythm not from a scroll, but from a cobbler. In a small town I once visited, there was an old man who repaired shoes. His shop was tiny, filled with the smell of leather and polish. He worked with a slow, deliberate focus. He didn't have a radio, the only sound was the gentle tap of his hammer. I watched him mend a sole. He examined it, selected a piece of leather, cut it with care, applied glue, positioned it, and then began to hammer, tap, 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 each strike deliberate, even, purposeful. There was no rush to finish. The act of repairing was the point. In his rhythm, there was a deep peace and a mastery that filled the tiny shop. He was not just fixing shoes. He was practicing a form of meditation. He was completing perfect, small circles of attention. When he handed me the shoes, they were not just repaired, they felt imbued with that calm. The Buddha taught mindfulness in all activities. This cobbler was a master of it. His workshop was his temple, his hammer his mantra. He showed me that enlightenment isn't found in escaping mundane tasks, but in marrying your full consciousness to them. So, how do you establish this rhythm? You begin by creating rituals of return. These are not grand ceremonies. They are tiny, personal anchors that bring you back to your center throughout the day. They are your own completing circles. For you, it might be taking 3 conscious breaths before you start your car. Pausing to feel the warmth of the water on your hands when you wash them. Looking out the window for 1 full minute, simply seeing, not thinking. Placing your hand on your heart before a difficult conversation. These rituals are your lifelines. They are the practice of the sacred repetition, woven into the fabric of your life. They train your mind to find the calm sky not just on the cushion, but in the chaos of the checkout line. From this established rhythm, you naturally begin to practice engaged detachment. This is the fruit of all our work. It is living in the world, caring deeply, acting wisely, but with an inner freedom that remains untouched by the roller coaster of results. Imagine you are a musician in an orchestra. You must know your part perfectly. You must listen intently to the musicians around you. You must pour your soul into the performance. This is full engagement. But you are not the conductor. You are not responsible for the entire symphony. You cannot control the acoustics of the hall or the mood of the audience. You play your part with excellence and devotion, and then you release the sound to the air. You are detached from the overall reception, yet fully engaged in your contribution. This is how to live. Be the impeccable musician of your own life. Care for your family with devotion. Do your work with integrity. Advocate for what is right with courage. But release your tight grip on how the symphony should sound. Do your part, and trust the larger composition. This is the middle way the Buddha taught, utter involvement without desperate clinging. Finally, this integrated life is held together by one unwavering understanding, the constancy of beginner's mind. No matter how long you practice, you approach each moment with fresh eyes. You do not say, "I am calm now, so this shouldn't bother me." That is the ego wearing the mask of peace. Instead, you say, "Here is a new moment. Let me meet it." Some days, the calm will feel deep and wide. Other days, it will feel like a tiny pebble in your shoe. Both are part of the path. The trained mind does not judge itself for having a difficult day. It simply begins again, gently, with the next breath. This humble returning is the very essence of the training. It keeps your practice alive, flexible, and real. So, let your life become a series of completed circles. Create small rituals that call you home. Engage fully, but with the light touch of a musician playing a part. And always carry the humble, curious heart of a beginner. In this rhythm, you will find that you are not managing your peace. You are living it. The training is over, because the training has become your life. Let's gather together the tools we've collected. We've moved from principle to practice, from the cushion to the rhythm of daily life. Now, let's step back and see the map we've been drawing. This part is a reflection, a weaving together of our stories and metaphors into a single, cohesive understanding. See this not as new information, but as viewing a familiar landscape from a high vantage point, where all the paths connect. Remember our metaphors. We began with the gardener and the wilderness, the understanding that your mind is a plot of land that will grow something, and you have the choice to tend it. We then spoke of the sky and the weather, learning to observe thoughts without becoming them. We discovered the forging of gold, where difficulties become the heat that purifies our calm. We dove into the ocean's depths, finding stillness beneath surface storms. We polished the compassionate mirror to reflect understanding instead of reaction. We admired the cobbler's rhythm, completing perfect circles of attention. And we took our place as the orchestral musician, engaged yet detached. These are not separate ideas. They are different lenses on the same truth, that you are not the content of your experience, but the conscious, spacious container for it. The Buddha's core teaching of anatta, or not self, points to this. You are the awareness in which the garden grows, the sky that holds the weather, the gold being purified, the deep ocean, the clear mirror, the mindful craftsman, the listening musician. Let me share a final, unifying story from my own path. After years of practice, I undertook a long, silent retreat. For days, I diligently applied all the techniques, observing, labeling, returning to breath. I was the gardener, the sky watcher, the diver. But a deep frustration grew. I felt I was managing my experience, not being it. One afternoon, exhausted, I simply gave up. I stopped all effort. I lay on the floor of my small room and stared at the ceiling. In that utter surrender of trying to be a good practitioner, something collapsed. And in that collapse, everything we've talked about became suddenly, vibrantly alive, not as concepts, but as direct experience. I was the sky, and thoughts were just clouds. I was the deep ocean, and emotions were passing currents. There was no me doing it right. There was just this boundless, peaceful awareness, and within it, the entire play of sensations, sounds, and thoughts. The metaphors weren't descriptions anymore, they were reports of reality. I understood that the training isn't about building something new. It's about removing the obstructions, the identification, the resistance, the clinging, to what has always been here, a perfectly calm and clear awareness. This is the ultimate goal of the Buddhist path, awakening to your true nature. From this vantage, let's revisit our principles as natural expressions of this awareness. 1. Observation without ownership happens naturally when you rest as the sky. You don't do it. You are it. 2. Letting go of control is what happens when you realize you are the ocean, not the waves trying to control other waves. 3. Sacred repetition is the gentle, persistent remembering of your true sky-like or ocean-like nature, especially when you forget and think you're a storm. 4. Present moment sanctuary is where the sky and ocean are. They don't exist in the past or future. 5. The Forge of Equanimity is the process by which the heat of life burns away the illusion that you are separate from the sky or ocean. 6. The supremacy of stillness is the power of the deep ocean, unshaken by surface weather. 7. Fearless compassion is the sky's sun shining on all clouds equally, or the ocean's water holding all life. 8. The awakened ordinary is the sky being sky, the ocean being ocean, in every moment, whether during a sunrise or a hurricane. When you see this, the practice shifts. It becomes less about effort and more about allowance. It is the allowance of your own deepest nature to express itself through you. The training is simply the gentle, repeated correction of course back to this allowance whenever you get lost in a story, a fear, or a desire. So, what do you do now? You live from this map. When you feel contracted by fear, you remember, I am the sky, this is a cloud. When you are hurt by someone, you remember, I am the clear mirror, I can reflect their pain without absorbing it. When you are overwhelmed by tasks, you remember, I am the cobbler. I have only this one stitch, this one hammer tap, this one circle to complete right now. The metaphors become your inner mantras, your shortcuts back to peace. This reflective understanding is a gift. It means you no longer have to carry the weight of all the teachings as a checklist. You carry only the remembrance of your true identity. Vast, calm, and clear, and everything else flows from that. The Buddha's wisdom is not a cage of rules, but a key to this remembrance. Let's rest here for a moment in this unified understanding. There is nothing to achieve, only a truth to recognize. Allow yourself to feel the simplicity beneath it all. The peace you seek is not ahead of you. It is the very ground of your being, here and now. Welcome to the final step of our journey together in Monk's Temple. We have traveled from understanding to practice, from struggle to surrender, and now we arrive at the simplest truth of all. The training is complete not when you achieve a perfect state, but when you realize that the peace you sought was never lost. It has been here all along, beneath the effort, behind the thoughts, within the breath. The Buddha's final teaching was of complete liberation, not from life, but from the stories we tell about it. Your calm mind is not a project to finish. It is your native state to remember. Settle in one last time. Let go of all techniques. Let go of the gardener, the sky, the ocean, the mirror. Let go of the idea of training itself. For this moment, there is nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one you need to be. Simply be. Feel the air entering and leaving your body. Notice the space between breaths. In that space, there is no problem to solve. That is your calm. It was never manufactured by any practice. The practices were only gentle hands clearing the window, so you could see that the clear sky was already there on the other side. I will leave you with one last, silent story. It is not my story, or a teacher's story. It is the story of this moment. Of you, listening. Of the awareness that hears these words. That awareness has no age, no conflict, no fear. It is untouched by everything you have ever thought or felt. It is the still point at your center. It has been with you since your first breath. It will be with you after your last thought. This awareness is your true home. You have never left it. You have only been distracted by the furniture, the thoughts, the emotions, the dramas, arranged within it. The great gift of the Buddhist path is this pointing back. All the wisdom, the meditation, the compassion, it all points back to the awareness that is reading these words right now. It is not special. It is ordinary. It is the fabric of your being. And because it is ordinary, it is always accessible. You don't need to be in a temple to find it. You only need to pause, and notice what has been noticing everything all along. So, what now? You live. You take this simple, abiding knowing with you. When the world is loud, you may softly remember, the awareness that hears this noise is itself silent. When pain arises, you may remember, the awareness that knows this pain is itself untouched. This is not a denial of human experience. It is the ultimate embrace of it, from a place that cannot be harmed. Go now, not as someone who has completed a training, but as someone who has remembered a truth. Walk gently. Be kind. When you forget, and you will, just smile. That moment of noticing you've forgotten is the spark of awakening, flashing once again. Return to your breath. Feel your feet on the ground. You are here. You are aware. That is enough. That is everything. Thank you for walking this path with me. May the calm you have touched here grow in you without effort. May the compassion you've cultivated flow freely to yourself and all beings. May you carry the quiet strength of your true nature into every moment of your beautiful, imperfect, human life. This is Monk's Temple, signing off in peace. Be well.